Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Reverend G. I am Reverend Grenetta Mason, aka Reverend G, and I'm here every Monday night bringing you spiritual conversations. My guests, they come from all walks of life, they have different careers, and they bring different perspectives to how spirituality has supported them. Each week, we talk about current events. We talk about topics that can support you as you go through your life. And my goal is to support you in finding joy. So we look at what spiritual practices can support you as you go through your life. Today, I have a really, really special guest, and I hope that we can support you in finding that joy with grace and ease. My guest today is LaShawn Pollard. She is the barbecue lady of Memphis, Tennessee. She's actually my cousin, my sister cousin. And family, they always come through when you need them because I threw this on her. She was like, "Girl, what? You asking me on this Monday?" And I was like, "Yeah, come on in." And she's like, "If you wasn't my cousin, I don't know, right?" But I appreciate it. And what I appreciate a lot is family. It's really important when you have family that supports you and that you can go to your family and they're there for you. So you can find me also every day on Facebook with inspirational messages as Rev Grenetta Mason. I'm also on Instagram as Rev Grenetta and YouTube as Rev Grenetta Mason. So let's get LaShawn in here and talk about what's been going on. Come on, hey cuz, how you doing?
What's up, cuz?
All is well. Introduce yourself to the people.
Well, I'm Grenetta's cousin, LaShawn Pollard, aka the Barbecue Lady,
Yeah.
coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, the barbecue lady. I think about just so many things because we've known each other forever, right? And one of the things that we that you could talk to us about is so we grew up in the same church together, right? As little
Yeah,
kids, and we
yeah.
went through when I left. So talk about how you started in the church, how you've evolved, and where you are now on your spiritual journey.
Okay. As Grenetta said, we grew up together in church at Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church. It's a Disciples of Christ Church here in Memphis, Tennessee, and that's where I originally, went to church, and we were there for years. Went to Vacation Bible School, did all the sang in the choir, did all of the youth activities, and we were very active in our church. So back in 2001, the Disciples of Christ ministry usually plants churches in different, cities or different areas of town. So Mississippi Boulevard decided to plant New Direction Christian Church, which is the church that I belong to now in the Hickory Hill area. So um, in uh, going to New Direction, I was active in starting a prison ministry, which I
Mm.
was doing prison ministry at Mississippi Boulevard, and I was doing that for about 28 years. And
Wow.
now I'm still actively participating in what we call it's a alpha
Hmm.
program, and what
Hmm.
that program is we basically it's a non-judgmental platform where people come together of all faiths, or if you don't believe, and just really talk about life, talk about things that your spirituality or lack of spirituality,
Hmm.
and where you can come and just ask the questions about anything related to what you believe and what you don't believe. So and also now I'm an elder in the Disciples of Christ Church at New Direction. So that's I was chosen as an elder back in January. So I'm now an elder in training. So
Oh,
pretty much as
yeah.
elders, we just participate with the congregation in congregational care. You know, if people have any needs, then the elders of the church go and help them with whatever they need. So
Mhm. That's it. You're
that's
still
what.
actively, right? You're still actively involved in the church.
Yes,
So
yes.
I think it's great that you're an elder in the church, right? You don't look that elder, but as an elder, right? The question that comes to mind for me is, as you think back as kids, how we grew up in the church, in everything we believed, in how we related to the Bible and church, what can you say about youth today? What are you seeing a difference in how they are approaching religion, or do you see a difference in the church? And what kind of things is your church doing to bring youth to the church? Because there's a lot of talk about them not.
Well, I that's one interesting part of like the Alpha program, and really my church, New Direction. It's a place where, I mean, we accept everybody. Just like
Mhm,
Jesus. He accepted everybody. It doesn't matter if you're whatever. All of us
mhm,
are sinners saved by grace if you're a Christian. And
mhm,
we try not to judge people. We
mhm,
try to welcome people with open arms, regardless of what you're going through, because, like I said, we all go through things. And we try to be transparent. We
mhm,
talk about our struggles, the things that
mhm,
we go through. And I found that when you share your experiences and the things that God has brought you out of, the things
mhm,
that God has done for you, people are more prone to listen to you. So
mhm,
we try to listen and
mhm,
try to meet people where they are. So I think that's one of the good things about our fellowship is because we welcome everybody.
mhm,
And I know they used to call us the hip hop church. You go over there to that hip hop church, they over there, we don't dress up. We don't,
mhm,
the typical dress in the jeans, tennis shoes,
mhm, mhm,
whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, you just come as you are, whatever
mhm,
state that you're in, and we find that people are more prone to come because of that.
mhm,
People want to be loved regardless of what they've done, who
mhm,
they are. And it's
mhm,
with Jesus, it was no respect of persons. Jesus hung
mhm,
out with everybody, so
mhm,
that's the kind of fellowship that we have in New Direction. So you know, it's warm, open, and
mhm.
inviting. And I think that's what draws people to,
And you have there's a
yeah,
young congregation there too.
yeah,
And
that's
you
right.
said something interesting because we talk about when you said love and everybody needs love, that's like the universal language, like the universal religion or spirituality, no matter if you're Christian or non Christian,
Right.
it's about love. What I find interesting though is Christianity has seem to it be closed, like very much these rules and ways of being, and if you don't do it like this way, then there was a lot of judgment. And I'm happy to hear that there's this shift, right?
Yeah.
Because in many stories, even when you think about the LGBT community, many of them left the church
Mm-hmm.
because of the way they were treated in the church. So to hear that there is room and people are opening up and accepting people where they are and for who they are, I think will bring more people to it, because I think a
Right.
lot of, right,
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, And so Alpha sounds to me like a place where that could be so. And I also hear that the teachings of Jesus, right? And those teachings can be universal, because when you say Jesus was about love and he welcomed everybody in, that's really open, to
Yes.
like many different people. And I think that's what I say what youth need, because I know the background that we got really supported us, right?
Yes.
And when we talk about the things we've gone through and how spirituality played a part in our lives, because I know when I was at breakdown, I was like, oh, I'm at breakdown. But I
Mm-hmm.
knew I didn't need a psychiatrist. I was like, something spiritual, something, because left the home and didn't go to church. Right? I went to
Right.
college, right?
Right.
College replaced church
Mm-hmm.
almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so after like living life and doing all that, there became a point where I was at breakdown. And right in that, I think it felt more like what happened to the spiritual base. So I was able to like draw on what I had learned as a kid and learn more and more about. I just read a lot about science of the mind, and I stayed in the Christian realm, but opened up,
Mm-hmm.
and that made a difference too for me. So I'm really happy to hear. Or I mean, a lot of the people that come on the show, they talk about leaving the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't leave the church. What kept you there, Lashon?
I think it was the acceptance. The acceptance
Mm.
because, I've been out there. I've
We all been
been
out
out
there.
there. And even when I was in my mess, and regardless of what, I still felt welcome. You know, I
Mm.
didn't feel judged. I didn't
Mm.
feel all of that stuff. So,
Mm.
um, and like you said, when you got to breakdown, I mean, a couple of years ago, it's like I had a breakdown, and I was, I'm a recovering alcoholic, so
Mm.
I joined AA,
Mm.
and um, during that process, I stopped drinking, and it, a couple of people that were close to me passed away during that time, and I just had gone through. I just went into a deep depression, and
Mm.
I just felt like the enemy was attacking my mind, and I was just really in a dark, dark place.
Mm.
And during that time, I remember one day my mom told me, she said, I think you need to go to counseling with Pastor Anita. We have a
Mm.
counseling center at our church too.
Mm.
So I went through counseling with her. And in going through that counseling, I was able to just talk about and identify a lot of hurts and childhood
Mm.
wounds that
Mm.
were still there,
Mm.
and I was able to unpack and talk about a lot of things that I kept inside that I was
Mm.
ashamed of, and that
Mm.
I really needed to release. So going through counseling, she does this series called Healing the Heart. I
Mm.
mean, an excellent program.
Mhm.
And she told me to join, to go through the Healing the Heart series. It's like 8 weeks sessions, and it deals with unmet childhood needs, and
Mm.
which are called stones that's on your heart that you carry. And a lot of us don't realize that we carry a lot of this stuff. So
Mhm.
the way I was raised was, my mom, she's a strong, hard little woman. And
Mhm.
anytime that, I would be upset about things or whatever, or was hurt or disappointed, she would say, girl, you'll be all right. You
Mm.
stronger than that, and that's
Mhm.
how I was raised. It was like, get up and try it again, keep moving,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I never dealt with my emotions and my feelings
Mhm.
And when I got to that point a couple of years ago, it's just like I crashed. So
Right.
going through those processes, I did the counseling, healing the heart, and at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I joined the Alpha team and started going through the Alpha program. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like it just changed my life. And
Mm-hmm.
all of it is spiritually based. And
Mm-hmm.
I was able to just oh just release a lot of junk that was
Mm-hmm.
inside of me that
Mm-hmm.
I never dealt with. It's like all of my life I walk around smiling and whatever
Mm-hmm.
and throw up from the floor up.
Mm-hmm.
And but I would always put on the mask. Oh, I'm good. Everything's
Mm-hmm.
fine with me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So um that
That that
led
that's
me to crash.
the crash, right? And it's interesting when we get to the crash, right? What supports us in moving through the crash. So it's interesting. I got a spiritual advisor too. You went to a spiritual person too at the time. So it's like we knew that it was something spiritual that could support us and bring us through the crash. And I could tell you totally it was my spiritual quest, the
Mhm.
books and everything that I was reading to find peace and to find that space. And what I like to talk about a lot too is getting help mentally,
Right.
getting help in our community for us. People seek help. I want to say get help because, as
Right.
you said, you were carrying all that around. And as people, we've been taught be strong, get up, going out there, keep doing it, keep pushing forward. And then we keep pushing forward until we crash and burn. And at
Mhm.
that point, then thank God we were able to find spiritual support or find
Right.
spirituality as a way for us to
Mhm.
move through and find peace. And I think that also when we think about seeking help, the AA, that's a whole spiritual
Yes.
background under the
Yes.
12-step
Yes.
process, which I didn't ever know or understand, but it's based on your spirituality, your connection with God, spirit, whatever you want to call it. But that whole process is also connected, that those the programs, and it also supports you too in releasing. It's like we hold so much. We just hold it, and we just keep on going, right? Until like
We
you
was just
address it.
always taught to just pray about it, just pray
Yeah,
about it. But
right.
okay, we pray
Yeah.
about it,
What does
feel
that
that
mean?
it's still there.
Right.
Even when
Right.
you get through praying and you get up off your knees, that stuff is still there. So
Ex-
you have to, find a way to release all of that garbage, else it will kill you.
Exactly. I love that you say it. People's like, just pray about it. You like when you get up from the praying,
Okay,
it's still there.
prayed
Right.
about it.
Right.
And then God wants us to seek help. That's what
Yeah.
these people are here for. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
not belittling God's power
Mm-mm.
or anything.
Mm-mm.
All of these resources are out here for us, and you should use them. And black
Exactly.
people, that's just taboo. Oh, girl, I ain't going to no counsel. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Okay.
Yeah, something wrong with you. Right.
Well,
And get
something
the
was
real
wrong with me, and I went and got me some help.
exactly right. And it's okay to say I'm seeking help because we can't.
Right.
And the realization, like you said, I mean, we carried it from years and still, and we act out on it. So the thing is we still acting out on all those hurts and all those different things that we've carried for years and years and years. So I
Exactly.
am thankful that I have spiritual practices, right? Things that I could go to. Like praying is a good thing, right? When you can find that peace and you know what you're praying about, and you get up and you done prayed and you feel the joy and you feel God got you and you feel all that, right? But there's a
Hmm.
whole nother level to your life besides that part, right?
Right.
So I do understand praying as a necessary, great part of a spiritual practice. But at the same time, aside from that, let's look at how do you clear out all the old hurts, all the old wounds, all of that stuff that we're still acting on. So I'm a big, strong advocate of get mental health, right?
Exactly.
Seek help, talk to somebody. Because just talking to somebody makes it all work. And it's not talking to your friends because you worried about them judging you. Finding
Right.
that safe place where
Mm-hmm.
you can go. And I think I heard you said that about Alpha too. People, you create a space for people to come in, even if they believe or not believe, but a
Right.
space for them to come
Mm-hmm.
in and even have the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Because I think people go from like believing to non-believing back to, you know what I mean, based
Right.
on whatever is going on, right? Where are you on the whole spectrum of whatever is going on, right? So being able to find a space to talk, a space to
Yeah.
just get it all out, where you feel accepted. I like what you said that you kept going to church because you wasn't judged and you felt that was a space for you.
Right.
That's really good. Yeah. So let's shift a bit. I'll come back and we at the end we talk about spiritual practices, but now let's talk about you as an entrepreneur, right? Um, I know all the iterations from the hairstylist to the shows to the, you did everything big. I was telling somebody about how you did hair, but you also did these big shows, right? To showcase and put that on. And now you're the barbecue lady. How'd you get to be the barbecue lady?
Well, back in 2000, my sister who managed my dad's restaurant, A&R Barbecue, our original location, she passed away, and I told my dad that I would come and help because she managed and ran everything. And at the same time, I was still doing hair. So I said, well, Dad, I'll come up and help part time and, help you kind of get things situated. So when I started working up there, I, um, I pretty much learned how to do everything from the
Mm,
working on the barbecue pit, making the
mhm,
desserts, doing everything, learned all the recipes. And I was there with, it's a family restaurant owned and operated. And I was there with the family working, working, working. And then I told my dad, I said, I want my own. So he allowed me to open the location. I'm actually here at the restaurant because Grenada shows one of the busiest days of the year for me to do this interview. So I'm still here in my office.
mhm,
Um, so he allowed me to open this location in Hickory Hill. So I've been doing this. I've been here. It'll be 20 years in November. And during the course of me owning and operating this business, I would people would ask if we would come and do different events, sell food, serve food at different festivals and that kind of stuff. So we would go out there with our tables and tents, and it was just too much work. So I decided, I said, I want me a food truck, because that
mhm,
would be more convenient, to
mhm,
do those kinds of events. So in 2018,
mhm,
I purchased a food truck. And a couple of years prior to that, I went back to college to get my degree. Um,
mm,
so while I was in school, we had a marketing class.
mhm,
And in that class, I would always do these videos,
mhm,
as the final project, and I would do videos about my restaurant, about food, and that type thing. So, um, I decided, I said, I used to do those videos at school. So I started doing videos. So I would
Mm-hmm.
do videos on Facebooks on Wednesdays and Fridays. Hey, y'all, it's me, the barbecue lady, coming to your
Mm-hmm.
house. And I eat my food.
Mm-hmm.
And I got so many responses and hits on social media. I was like, whoa, this barbecue lady thing is something.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I
That
was getting
okay.
thousands and thousands of views and likes and comments. So I was like, okay. So this guy, Mike Mason, he
Mm-hmm.
would come in the restaurant all the time, and he told me he would come in always saying, "Where's the barbecue lady?" He said, "That's your
Mm-hmm.
name, barbecue lady."
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I became the barbecue lady, and I purchased my food truck, and now I go out to different events and you know sell my barbecue. I've been down the Gulfport and just everywhere. This past weekend, we were at the Cigar Fest downtown here in Memphis, selling food on the food truck, and I typically do like big events. I don't do the on the corner,
Mm-hmm.
type thing. So,
Yes, you don't do the
it,
corner events, right?
have
You
some
know,
food trucks go set up on the corner. No, we do events, and so that's how the barbecue lady
barbecue
was
lady
born.
got started. Yeah. When you were saying you started doing your videos and the barbecue ladies, tell us about your movie credits. I know you were in a movie and you have you was a movie star now, right?
Yay!
That's the barbecue lady.
Well, I'm in this movie called Uncorked. It's on Netflix, starring Niecy Nash and Courtney B. Vance. I play Dorothy, the one of the managers of the restaurant. So I got a few scenes, y'all, and I had a few speaking parts, and I was like, "Woo." So it's still on Netflix. It's called Uncorked.
Hmm.
So y'all look at Uncorked, and you will see me, the barbecue
Hmm.
lady.
All right. And I'm here in New York, but I do see a lot. Like you have Dick Kevin Hart came through, and who was the last guy, the Black Wall Street guy? They came through recently.
Oh, Hill Harbor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, right.
Hill
Those
Harbor was
guys.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
A couple of months ago.
right. It's interesting that people come through and they know it's there, and the different magazine articles and different. We always seeing things, and I always tell people when you go to Memphis, go to A&R Barbecue, right, and
Uh,
get some barbecue. Another interesting thing is, so let's talk about pre-COVID, COVID, and now how
okay.
as an entrepreneur, how that's impacted your business. Because and you were in Memphis, which was like interesting, and you never closed, right, which was another interesting thing for me. Because so take us through your story from pre through COVID to where you are now.
Okay. When did what was that? 2019. When did it go?
2019, yeah,
What is it?
pre-COVID
Oh,
was 2019.
2021. Okay. Pre-COVID. That was what? 2019? When did
Yeah.
COVID?
Like, where was Rico? You're so
No, it was
excited.
2020. This 2021, y'all. I'm just all confused. But anyway,
Right.
um,
Okay.
right before COVID hit, um, that's when I had my
Great.
breakdown. And
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, it was right before COVID.
Mhm.
And right when COVID hit, that's when I was going through my Healing the Heart and my Alpha program. And the they made the announcement that everything was going to shut down. And I was like, oh, Jesus, because, we are small business, and
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid. I didn't know what was going to happen. And then they made the announcement for Memphis that uh, only the restaurants that have carry out uh, could stay open, and we had to close at 6 o'clock. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, everybody had to wear masks, and social distance and the whole 9 yards. So we had to shut down our dining area in the restaurant because of the COVID restrictions. And I used the platforms DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, which those sales just skyrocketed because people
Mm-hmm.
weren't coming out, and
Mm-hmm.
we got busy, busy, busy. And people would come in and do carry out orders.
Mm-hmm.
So um, in 2020, when COVID hit, that was the busiest year that
Wow.
I've had since I've been in business. In the 19 and a half years I've been in business, in
Mm-hmm.
2020, my sales just skyrocketed. That was the busiest year that I've had. So it
Mm-hmm.
really, um, you know, it was just, I mean, I said, Lord, you just blew my mind. God just blew my mind because, uh,
Wow.
I was afraid. And even during that Christmas holiday during COVID, I had 5 employees to get the virus. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was, didn't have a lot of help. All
Mm-hmm.
of us that were still here pulled together and pulled things off. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it was really a scary time for us. So, but through it all, we're still standing. And
Mm-hmm.
even with that, I was able to expand the restaurant. So, what I'm doing now
Mm-hmm.
is I've obtained the building next door. I'm knocking walls out. It's under construction right now. My opening date is September the 26th. That's the date
Oh,
I
okay.
plan to open my expansion. So things have really been going well for me.
Mm-hmm. And talk of the expansion is how are you expanding? You're expanding the dining area.
Yes, yes. Well, now they've lifted the restrictions where you can have dine-in. I got the building next door, and I'm putting a full bar, a
Mm.
stage, have live
Mm.
entertainment, and
Okay.
Reverend G, she's gonna come to Memphis and perform for me in November, people. So I'm just putting it out there. Uh, she's gonna come and do her one-woman show
Yeah.
here.
My one woman show, right?
Yeah.
Reverend G,
So
right?
that's be my dine in. And like I said, on weekends I'm gonna have live entertainment and just bring a little life down here to this corner. So
Mm-hmm. That's
mhm.
really, really good. The expansion in 20 years. Wow, 20
Right.
years.
Yeah. November the
Time
8th.
really goes fast. Yeah, time really, really goes fast. 20 years, right? Um, I also know that, and I don't know if you're still working with the youth in the city. At one point, you were working with a group of young ladies. Are you still doing that? What happened with that group? What kind of projects are you involved? I think you're just expanding right now, right? More than anything, right?
Yep, expanding and still working with Alpha.
Okay,
Getting
right.
ready to gear up for another round. It's an 11-week program, so yeah, just getting ready to do that. I was more or less working with women that were incarcerated, and when they get out, try to help them find jobs, places to stay, and that type thing. So
Mhm.
that's one of the passions that I have to, help women in crisis.
I was thinking about that because if you started out with the prison ministry,
Mm-hmm.
even at Mississippi Boulevard, right, you were doing
Yes.
that, right?
Yeah.
And now you're still supporting women who are incarcerated. And I think I see you do a lot of things from the point of view of community involvement. Talk about some of your community events. I think I've seen you do Get Out the Vote, some of the
Yeah.
different things that you do in the community.
Hmm. Well, a couple of times we've had like get out to vote rallies up here at the restaurant
Hmm.
to get people registered to vote. It's just it breaks my heart that the young people don't want to vote, don't want to
Mm.
register to vote, and just getting out there, just letting them know how important it is, and just having the get out and vote rallies up here so that people can register to vote.
You know what just came to my mind is when you're on the outside and you looking in and they talk about Memphis and the crime, and like the 48 hours was in Memphis, right? And um all of that whole crime in Memphis kind of thing, how has that impacted you, and what kind of things do you see? Is it like really that bad? I don't know. It's really interesting when I think about it because things can go on and not impact your world, right?
Mhm.
And so the way I see it through you guys is very different from the way I see it through the media.
Right. I just, I mean, it's bad everywhere. I don't, people kill me when you see different things happening in certain um, areas of
Hmm.
town. And
Hmm.
oh, I just can't believe that this could happen here. Crime happens everywhere. And I
Hmm.
don't think our crime is more, um, I don't think our crime is greater than any other,
Hmm.
city of our size
Hmm.
or, um, and, you just, I haven't personally,
Hmm.
had any problems here.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
neighborhood that my restaurant is in, it's in Hickory Hill, and they
Hmm.
say, "Oh, Hickory Hill is a bad neighborhood," and this, that, and the other. But the people here in this neighborhood, I mean, they embrace us, and
Hmm.
it's not what the media makes it out to
Myself.
be. And like I
Hmm.
said, crime happens everywhere. We live
Hmm.
in Germantown, which is one of the supposed to be neighborhoods in Shelby County, and it's crime over there. They just don't advertise it because of the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
they just in the neighborhoods like Hickory Hill, where it's predominantly black people. I'm just putting it
Hmm.
out there. They
Hmm.
just boost it up, but
Hmm.
the white kids in our neighborhood, they get into just as much trouble as the kids over here in Hickory Hill. Their parents
Hmm.
just have the money to go bail them out, and they know the lawyers and the judges and all that stuff. So there you
Right. It's just
go.
I was just
There you
thinking
go.
about that, especially being so working in an all black community and working with all blacks, this whole new after all of the George Floyd and all of the killings, how they talked about this diversity, inclusion, and equality,
Hmm.
right? And so as I was sitting here and I'm thinking, well, what has been the impact for you on this whole new movement to support black businesses, to be inclusive and create diversity? What as a black business How has that impacted you?
Well, I've always been inclusive of everybody here at my restaurant anyway. The
Mm.
majority of my employees are ex-offenders. Uh,
Ex-offenders.
yes, ex-offenders.
Oh, okay, okay.
Uh-huh.
I didn't
Yeah.
hear you. Look at me. I said ex-offender. No, I didn't mean like that. I was saying it because I didn't hear you, not in any judgmental way, but it came across like, but
Most
okay.
of them ex-offenders, and I
Really?
gave them a chance. That's just who
Mm.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been like that. I've always embraced, if you have a need, I've just, I've just always been like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't judge them. It's like and a lot of them are felons, so they
Mm-hmm.
can't get jobs in different places or whatever. And one thing that has always been my passion is to make sure that I pay them good wages. So,
Mm-hmm.
the staff that I have, they've been with me for years.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Most of them, I have two that have been here from the beginning, but the majority of them, they come and they stay. A few of them
Mm-hmm.
leave and go somewhere else, and they
Mm-hmm.
end up coming back because
Mm-hmm.
they come
Mm-hmm.
back
Mm-hmm.
because they know I'm gonna take them back. But
Right, right, right. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's that's how I've always rolled, and we
Mm-hmm.
had different races of people that work here,
Right.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
like we just all one big happy family. So
Mm-hmm. Did
mhm.
you get any support as a small business? How was that process for you when they started giving out the money and everything as a small business? And there was a lot of talk about how a lot of the minority business were able to get to the money and get the money. What was that whole process like for you?
I was able to get everything.
Oh,
Thank you, Lord.
you was like I was able to get the money, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny. He's
Yeah.
like, I got the money. You know how now too. Well, I'm glad you got the money. And they're talking about one of the things you're hearing people talk about too is the fact that it's hard to get the workers to come back because they were getting more unemployment. Unemployment ran out now. So do you see a shift in people wanting more jobs, or was that? Did you feel that as a business owner? That people didn't really want to come to work, and when you were in your times was it hard to find people? No, no, you were
Not
just
well,
blessed
my
all
staff.
around.
Yes, my staff stayed because I told
Mm,
I said if you want to because some of them were scared about COVID. I said,
mm-hmm,
and I totally understand. And I had a meeting
mm-hmm,
with them. I
mm-hmm,
said, the unemployment is there. If you guys want to get the unemployment and not work, I totally understand or whatever. My folk was like, no, we come to work. So
mm-hmm.
I was
Oh, okay.
blessed in that aspect too, that none
Mm-hmm,
of them, uh, you know, stopped working to get the unemployment. So I didn't have the problem with, once everything started opening back up, finding employees because mine never stopped working. So
oh, okay.
they
That's
worked.
really good.
The, yeah,
Right.
through the
That's
whole.
really good.
Yeah.
Hmm. Because you're hearing that's, I mean, in all the industries, down to getting truck drivers, furniture people, all the deliveries. Like I ordered flowers and it's taken, they're telling me 2 weeks. Come on, 1-800-flowers. They were supposed
Yeah.
to get there the next day, right?
Well, it's we can the way I feel the impact is, of course, the prices are going up on all of our
Mm,
products and everything. The
mm-hmm,
prices going up, and I had an incident a couple of weeks ago where the company that I get my trucks from with my food, they had 14 truck drivers that were out this particular week with COVID. So
Mm.
it took me 2 days to get my truck, which
Mm.
usually if I order my truck the night before, that my supplies arrived the next day, but it was 2 days before I was able to get my truck. And as a matter of fact, I wasn't able to get it. We had to go to the plant, and that's what it was. We had to go to the plant and get our pick up our supplies. So now that I'm getting ready to expand,
Mhm.
I'm hiring now, so I can see where it's kind of hard to find people.
Mm.
I just hired 3 people last week, so
Okay.
I'm looking to hire probably like 5 or 6 more. So
Mhm.
you know, I'll see.
Right. Well, people, if you go work for her, you never want to leave, right?
That's right. Look, I'm the best boss lady in the whole wide world.
And
My
best boss
employees
lady.
love me.
you know, uh, that when I talk about conversations with Reverend G, I talk about, spirituality from a practical point of view. How does
Hmm.
spirituality support you in your everyday life? And I like some of the examples of how, we talk about different parts of our lives and where we are and how spirituality can support us, right? And one of the things I talk about is the spiritual toolkit. Now, the spiritual toolkit is personal. It's your own practices
Hmm.
that work for you. And so, since there are just like so many things that you could do, that people do as practices to find peace, to find joy, to find clarity. So, when there's chaos and when we're confused, what practices do we go to? And I have mine. I have a lot of them, and I work some of them some of the time. I was saying during COVID, I had to pull out everything I knew, right, to stay sane, right, to stay at
Uh-huh.
peace and still be able to laugh and still be able to do the comedy, right?
Right.
So what would you say are your top three practices, like your top three go-to practices that always support you?
Okay. Prayer and
Prayer.
mhm. My morning devotionals that I read every morning. I go in my quiet space and
Mm-hmm.
read my devotionals and listening to gospel music.
Me too.
Hmm.
hmm
Yeah,
I
listening
like
to.
to sing gospel music and I
Uh,
like to listen to
mhm.
gospel music,
Yeah.
right? It really
Yeah.
does. I think too, when I think about it, sometimes I say I want to change the lyrics to some of the songs. So in my mind, right, I do change the lyrics to some of them. But my really go-to gospel music really gives me that sense of peace, right? and
Mhm.
and then I can find that space, and that's what we talk about. Life happens, and we're going to go through things,
Mhm.
but how do we go through them, come through them? And as you said, I love what you talked about in the beginning of just getting rid of all the baggage and all the old things that we don't even know, because we're
Right.
constantly like up and going, like, we got to get there, we got this to do, we have this to
Mhm.
do, so we're just pushing it back until we crash and burn,
Right.
right? And then we crash and burn, right? And then we, figure out, right, what can support us, right?
Mm.
And I'm a big law of attraction, energy, you, whoever I am being, that's what I'm going to attract. My life is a reflection of my thoughts and that kind of thing. So it's when I think about, spiritual practices and spirituality, it's very personal, right?
Right.
And a
Mm.
spiritual toolkit. And so I like to come and have people tell their stories about how, what's happened in their lives and how
Mm,
spirituality has supported them. So
mm,
we're going to wrap up soon, but I really want you to, you know, talk about, leave the people with a message. I know we've talked about you as a spiritual woman, a spiritual leader, as an entrepreneur. There's so many parts to who you are. I know you have nieces and nephews that you love, right? A family person, a community woman, right? All those things. So what message? I'm silly, right? But what message, would you like to leave with today?
I would say to everybody to listen.
Listen.
Yeah, listen. Um,
Mm-hmm.
express your love to others by listening and really hear what
Mm-hmm.
um, the next person is saying, because it's so refreshing. Like when I call you,
Mm-hmm.
and my cousin listens to me, and she really hears me. So and I think that goes a long way. And um, don't just be so quick to give advice and
Mm-hmm.
judge and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Open up and allow people to listen so that you can see where that person is and learn to love people where they are.
Mm.
That would
That would be,
make this
it's
world
it's
a better
a
place.
better place, right? It's interesting that you said that because my guest last week,
Hmm.
her company is, I think it's called Third Ear, or listening with your third ear. That's what it is, right? And it's like listening for the hurts that you can heal. And last week, the whole thing we talked about was listening. And I have this book today. We were putting away books, and it was about right listening, right? And I
Wow.
think that is really, really important, and very important thing, because we also talked about creating space where people feel they can be heard. And that's
Right.
also about how you listen to people.
Mhm.
We talk about listening with 360 degrees. It's like hearing, body language, and the whole thing. And a lot of times we are listening to maybe give advice, like you said, or listening from what can we say next, or listening, not just listening,
Mhm. Mhm.
and making the person.
It's like you can, even people that you have differences with, people that, y'all don't see eye to eye, you don't worship the same way, you don't have, you have different spiritual practices, just in general, just sitting down and just listening from to that person, their perspective or their point of view, and just really hearing what people are saying. At the end of the day, we're all saying the same thing. We all want the same thing. It's to be not misunderstood, and to uh, we just want love. Everybody
Love,
just want.
right? One love, right? And we think about it. The bottom line is that it is. We all just want to be loved, right?
Mhm.
And we act out and we do it different ways, and we're all seeking really to be loved and to be seen and
All
to
right.
be heard, right? And that's the whole thing. So yeah, I like that idea of, it's called listening, right? Listening, and we can listen in so many different ways, because I took a training about how we listen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, we listen with real, in really, really interesting ways, because to listen without judgment, right? It's interesting,
I
right?
notice these my employees, a lot of my nieces, friends, and a lot of these young girls, they always
Mhm,
want to come to TT because they know
mhm,
TT is going to listen. She's not
mhm,
going to judge them. She's not going to
mhm,
shoot off. You know, I
mhm,
listen to all of the all of the things that they have going on, and
mhm.
I'm not going to judge you. But they in every time they have anything going on, they come to TT because they know TT is going to listen.
You're going to listen and not judge them and give them a
Right.
space to
Right.
express.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Well, I'm so excited that you took away from your busy A&R barbecue day. I do apologize for throwing it on your busiest
Only
day.
for you, only for you, Renetta.
Yes, and I look forward to coming down for the 20th anniversary in November.
Yeah.
And your opening when again? Coming out on the 20, September 26th,
Yes.
the grand opening. Well,
Yes.
join at the Sean September 26th for the expansion at the A&R Hickory Hill location.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
I'm excited.
ma'am. I know you've been working hard all day, so it's like, girl, what? I'm about to drag it on out of here. All right, well, I love you and
All
thank you for joining me tonight.
right. Love you too. Talk to
All
you
right,
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me tonight on Conversations with Reverend G. And I'm here every Monday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on WEMS Radio, bringing you guests from all walks of life and with different perspectives. And I'm here to support you in living your best life with joy, with grace and ease. And I'd like to leave you tonight with the thought of how are you listening? Think about it. Think about making that space for people to come to you where they can feel heard and where they feel that they are being listened to. I'm Reverend G, and you can find me every day on Facebook as Reverend Grenetta Mason, on Instagram as Rev G. And I'll be here again next Monday night bringing you Conversations with Reverend G. Have a great, great week, and I'll see you next Monday.